Hey Misfits, it's Elise. Welcome back to our channel. This week we're doing a story about getting kicked out or almost getting kicked out, and I don't really have many good stories, so I'm going to be talking about this one year at Kineticon back in 2014 where I technically could have gotten arrested and kicked out of the convention that I was going to called Kineticon. And it's like in Hartford, Connecticut. It's like cosplay, video games, anime, stuff like that. I was in a Sailor Mercury costume. Like, that would have been a really funny mugshot if I did. But, yeah, I was like 19 years old, so it's just like a funny story to look back on. It's really not that, like badass or anything. Like, my older sister used to get into a ton of trouble compared to me when I was my age, so this is like the one story I got, so I hope you dig it. Starting like next week, my video schedule is gonna be fucked. Like, I think next week I'm off on a Thursday, but yeah, like basically, I started a new job. I work at Walgreens now. I left Walmart finally. Hallelujah. I'm a shift leader at Walgreens, so it's like a generic supervisor position where you're like everywhere, not one department. Walmart has departments, but that's because it's such a big store, so please forgive me if my schedule for the uploads are fucked. Alright? Okay. So this was a Friday at the convention we were at. It was 2014. That year I also did Alexis Rhodes from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. And I don't know if I did Samus that year. I think Samus was the next year, because I remember I had my Robin costume. There was a DC shoot that I went to, so like, yeah, so that was my little lineup. So I brought my Sailor Mercury costume for that shoot. I didn't know anyone running a shoot that like I knew, because in the past, like, the previous year was my first year cosplaying, and I went with this girl, and it was all her friends, and it was her cousin, and like they ran the shoot, and like it went great. All the pictures came back, everyone looked good. I mean, a week later, everyone was talking about it at school, because like we were tagged in it on Facebook, and like then people were making fun of us. But like, you know, that was when cosplay was like a little different. People would make fun of you if they knew you were a cosplayer. Now it's like, oh, that's hot. So this was still that time. So this shoot, I don't know who ran it, but they said it was supposed to be like 11 a.m. and it had a location marked down, but it basically said, hey, meet in the lobby. Like the center lobby. We're all going to meet there. The location's been moved and this, that, the other thing, because like it kept changing on the Facebook group. Like, because I don't know how other conventions work, but it'll like have your photo shoots listed, and it'll say like Sailor Moon, 11 to 12, whatever the date is, and then it'll say like the location. Like, so originally it was going to be the top stairwell. This was when it was a smaller convention, and then it changed to somewhere outside. Then it was like, okay, it's in the middle, and like we didn't know how that was going to work. Like, it kept changing, but this admin kept posting mad updates about it, so I wasn't worried about it. So I remember my brother-in-law said, hey, just call me when you're done, type of thing. Like, I'm going to play Magic cards, you know, whatever. He had his Jace Bellerin costume. Like, I don't know if anyone plays Magic. He was Jace. So I'm like, okay, cool. And like, I was waiting around in this lobby area, and I don't see any Sailor Moon cosplayers, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this shit? You know, 5-ish minutes go by, and then I see a Sailor Serenity, and it's this girl, and she introduced herself as Cat, and like, yeah, I'm trying to go to the shoot too. Like, I'm like, I haven't seen anyone. And she's like, yo, same, I've been walking around trying to find Sailor Moon scouts and see if like anyone has any idea what's going on. And the page went cold after like 7 a.m. Like, no one was commenting on it. Like, not even like other people going to the shoot saying like, hey, where are you? Where is this thing? Or anything like that. We commented on the page like quite a few times. We couldn't get anyone to answer, and it's like, back then the Wi-Fi for the hotel was free, so like everyone could still communicate. I miss those days. We were hella confused, so we legit waited almost an hour, and then we heard nothing from these people, and no other Sailor Scouts on the page answered, and the ones that walked around in the Sailor Moon costumes were like, hey, are you going to the shoot? And they're like, what shoot? And they're like, oh, no, I have no idea. So like, me and this girl, Kat, And the boyfriend I had at the time, he was dressed as Mercury. So if you've watched Sailor Moon before, it's the guy in Mercury's math class, like, who had a crush on her, and he was writing notes. So he made a fake name named Mercurius on these notes, like, so, you know, that was an obscure reference, but I was going to have him go with me, because he drove up separately with his mom or something like that, and, like, that's how we met up. So it was me, my boyfriend at the time, and Kat, and we're just, like, confused. So we waited around almost an hour, good hour, and then we're like, alright, no one's fucking answering, this is stupid, blah, blah, blah. So then Kat goes, hey, do you want to come to my booth? And we're like, booth? And she's like, yeah, like, I have a vendor pass and shit. Like, we didn't even look at her pass before. So, like, a vendor is someone who, like, is selling something, or they have a booth, or something like that, right? So we're like, cool, we'll go to your booth, like, whatever. Like, 'cause she was nice. Like, it was cool. We made friends on Facebook, like, instantly. It was cool. So we went to her booth, and it was basically, you know, a bunch of her friends running the booth, and there were these two guys there. Joe, who was a photographer friend of mine, he took pretty good pictures of me for years to come. And then it was her friend Keith, and then there were these other girls there, and that was really it. I don't remember the girls all that much, but they're like, hey, how was your shoot? And she's like, there was no shoot, like, no one came to the lobby, we couldn't find anyone, and no one answered the page. And they're like, what? That's fucking stupid, like, you know. So two of these guys, Joe and Keith, were both photographers, and they're like, damn, we should go take pictures somewhere. And they asked me and my boyfriend if we were interested, and I was like, I got nothing to fucking lose. I just had to tell my brother-in-law where I was going, because my parents don't trust me an hour away from home. They just never trusted me. Now they kind of don't care, but, like, it took them till I was, like, almost 25 years old. So I'm the baby. It is what it is. So they're like, yeah, let's go take pictures off grounds somewhere. And I'm like, I've never left the con grounds before. Like, I hope you guys know where we're going and that you could bring us back. Cause, like, I have no fucking idea. I live in the Bridgeport area. So they're like, yeah, no worries, blah, blah, blah. So we agreed to go to this park that was, like, literally 5 minutes away, and we met these other cosplayers along the way that had the same thing where they couldn't find the photo shoot. So it was a tuxedo mask, it was a Sailor Jupiter, who else was there? One of the villains from Sailor Moon, but, like, a funny one. He's, like, an old man, and his hair was all wild, and I'm drawing a blank on who he is. So if you have that information, please put the name of the villain in the comments below. Someone will know. So we took pictures with them, and then the guys had this great idea. Hey, like, sorry, my mom went in the kitchen. So they're like, hey, do you want to go take pictures, like, by the fountain in Hartford Square? And I'm like, I guess, because, like, Kat was Serenity in the dress, like, you know, like the goddess Serenity, you know, with the hair up, and she was in the flowing gown, and it had the wings, you know. There was a fan art that she and this, I guess she found it, but, like, the photographer Joe was like, yo, like, this would be a great place to do it, like, because, like, there's water, and you could just put your feet in and, like, take a picture. And it's like, oh, like, you know, I was like, oh, that's cool, like, I'll come. And then, like, I just was like, well, Mercury's a fucking water sign, you know. It would only make sense to take a picture with in the water, too. And he's like, yeah, that's awesome, let's do it, right? So we walked back from the park area, but, like, go around. And then we basically went into this part of the city where you, like, I don't know, like, all these big cities, like Boston, New Haven and stuff, like, it's, like, brick. And there's, like, stairs, so it's, like, you know, all the buildings, and then you go up some stairs, and it's all this, like, these businesses and stuff, and then, like, it had a fountain in the middle of it, right? So we're like, alright, cool. And it's like, we gotta do this quick, though, because if there's cops, they're gonna yell at us. And I'm just like, oh my god. Like, this is back when I was scared of my own shadow. I was scared of my parents. I was scared of the cops. Like, even when I did nothing wrong. Like, you know, I grew up in Bridgeport. Like, to be fair, I still don't really like the cops all that much. I know they have a job to do, but there's some instances where I just have disagreements with how things happen. But anyway. So they did her picture, and like all she did was like take her shoes off and like slide them in the water, and hers was real easy to do, and they just angled the camera a certain way, like where she was looking at the water, and great, you know, her picture took like a minute and a half, you know, nothing crazy. So then it's like, all right, and it's like because they asked me what I wanted to do, because like the photographers had a lot of suggestions, like, you know, put your hands in and just hold the water, or like, you know, I guess I think I was the one that said like I would love to just jump in and then like you guys edit the water like in my hands or something, you know, because I was doing like the Mercury bubble attack, like, which I think is this. I forget. I haven't watched Sailor Moon in a couple years. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I wanted to do Mercury bubble. And it's like, alright, cool, just hop in real quick. So I got like one shitty picture that's unflattering where I was kind of squinting, and this was when I was a newer cosplayer too. So like I wasn't good at taking pictures, and like photographers sometimes like don't want to work with that, but these guys were really nice because like when I took my other pictures with them, they kept doing them over because like I was just not good at posing and stuff like that, and they knew I was a new cosplayer. Like I'm like, look, I suck at taking pictures. I bought this costume off eBay. Like, I need more direction than this. You know, like now I just pose. Like it's a lot more natural now, but like back then I was like so bad at taking pictures. So after like one or two terrible pictures, a freaking cop walks up and he like yells at us like, hey, yo, get out, like, it's like, we'll let you go right now, but like you can't be taking pictures in the fountain like this, or like something like that. And I was scared shitless, so I just hopped out. But like my friend who's been to that convention for like 5 or 6 years before I did, he was like, dude, like it's just for a picture, like what's the harm? And it's like, because you're climbing in the fountain, like you're being a nuisance. Like, I'm like, listen, I don't even live around here, I can't afford to get arrested, blah blah blah. But like the guy Joe who was taking my picture was like, dude, it's just a quick photo, like it's ConnectiCon weekend, like can't you just like let us finish real quick? And the cop was like, no, like get out, like otherwise I have to take you into custody. And that's when we're like, okay, let's get the fuck out of here. So basically we either would have gotten arrested or they would have contacted ConnectiCon and we could have gotten banned, because there was like something in the policy, like if you're doing something crazy like after the con and like you're wearing the merchandise, or like you could tell you were a con goer, so like costumes, like they could ban you. So like we were like, all right, whatever. So after that whole idea, my shoes were soaked. Like I was in swampy, muddy ass shoes the whole day, like, or not muddy, but like wet, musty I guess would be a better word, because they're like that pleather plastic go-go boot material, like, you know. Oh, it was so gross. They smelled so bad after that. I had to put like, I think I put tea bags and like air fresheners inside, because it made them smell so bad. And it like, that's what I don't understand. The water was clear in this fountain, but like it made my shoes smell like ass. So it was like, holy shit, like, you know. So like I think I walked to the con back barefooted because like my shoes were so wet, and it was just like, it's like, look, we got a lot of other good photos, like the cops just had to ruin it. And like my friend Joe, like Kat and I have been going for years, like I forget how he said this, but basically like there's cops that are like willing to let you like have a little fun, compared to this guy. He was just being a dick, blah blah blah, like don't worry about it, like you weren't gonna get arrested. And it was basically like we made sure everyone had our contact information, because I was like, how am I gonna get these pictures back anyway? Like, do I give you my email? Like, do you want to add me on Facebook? Like, so he basically added me on Facebook, and I liked the girl shop page because that's where they were gonna post them, and that was gonna be it. But like I made friends that day because like they met up with me the rest of the convention. Like even I went to her booth the next day and bought something, like, so like it was a cool thing to look back on. Like I made friends, and like I'm sad they're moving to Ohio, so that's gonna suck because like I only used to see them once a year anyway. I mean, they were doing pictures and stuff all year round, and they used to try to recruit me to go, but like my mom never let me go up to Bristol like with a bunch of strangers, or like wherever the heck they were taking pictures at. No, like I don't know them, you can't go. So like but we would meet up, like, during the convention and at least have lunch or something together, so that's gonna suck. But, like, I guess that's my first, like, instance where I got in trouble. That's, like, really the only thing I did that got me in trouble. I mean, other than, like, my job, like, trying to fire me, or... I mean, I've drank underage before, but so does every college kid. Like, I got into... Like, my friend was playing at a bar, and I was 20, and his band was playing. They didn't even card me, so, like, my sister just ordered my drinks, but, like, that's pretty much the most shit I've stirred up before. Yeah, that's really it. So this was when I was 19, like, I was still a baby, and I didn't, like, know how to stand up for myself, because I could have, like, said to the cop, dude, it's Kineticon weekend. Can't you just, like, chill? Like, Jesus Christ. I just wanted to get a flattering photo. Like, yeah, I get it's annoying, but, like, this brings traffic, like, to your city. Like, it brings business. It brings money to the city. Like, you're really just, like, picking on a bunch of kids. Like, I didn't know these guys I was taking pictures with. They're, like, 30. But, like, I could have been more like, you're picking on a bunch of kids who just want to take a picture in a fucking fountain. Like... Do you know how many people do that shit and they don't ask permission, or, like, we didn't ask either, but, like, like, they're worse about it. Like, come on, like, but, like, my friend yelled at the cop a little bit, and then he threatened to, like, you gotta get out of here, or else I'm gonna have to turn you in, and I'm like, alright. I don't even know what that charge would be. I guess being a public nuisance, but, like, literally there was no one around. It was, like, everyone... in that area, like, was not outside. It was, like, the weirdest thing. Like, at the end of the day, like, yeah, I was stupid, because, like, I told my parents, like, maybe 3 years later what happened, and they're like, oh, like, did you get a picture out of it? And, like, it was a sucky picture. After all that, it was a sucky-ass picture, but, like, yeah, I got a picture out of it, and they're like, that's fucking stupid. I know cosplayers who do much more dangerous shit than that, like, I'm talking, like, on the top of buildings and shit, like, oh, but you're gonna yell at me because I stepped in a fountain that's literally, like, 6 inches deep of water. Like, if it was me now, and I would have been, listen, dude, I just want to get a picture, like, this thing has a filter anyway, it's not like it's gonna be contaminated, like, what the fuck, like, that's another thing, that fountain... It, like, contaminated my shoes in a way. Like, it made them smell so bad. I guess it was so heavily chlorinated. It just made my go-go boots smell so bad. And I'm like, I guess the water in Hartford is disgusting. What else is new? This is why I don't leave my hometown. Like, So, like, it's just something stupid to look back on. Because it's how I met my friends Joe and Kat. It's how I met Keith. Keith wasn't really my friend, but it was Kat's friend, so, like, he was, like, by association, of course, but, I mean, it's funny. Like, if I ever have children, which probably not, but if I do, I'm gonna be, like, in my 30s before I have kids, and I'm like, listen, the do it for the Vine or do it for Instagram culture shit, don't do it. Because you're gonna get a shitty cop that's not gonna let you have fun. Like, there's a lot of people who do those types of pictures, and maybe they do get legal permission, or they get a cop involved so that someone will, like, allow them to do it, but, like, that is so much work, like, so just don't do it for the gram, it's not worth it. So that's kind of what I've learned, like, at the end of the day, you can meet up with someone and just have them Photoshop you and do a green screen, and it pretty much looks the same, so that's what I learned. So then later in the day, I wasn't checking my phone. Like, I'd met up with my brother-in-law and my boyfriend, and we were just like, I don't know if we were going to eat, like, I forget. And it was like, the group contacted us, and it was like, hey, do you guys still want to come? We moved the shoot to this time, and it's over at blank, like, do you want to come? And at this point, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I looked at my boyfriend at the time, like, my ex, and he's like, do you want to go? Like, it's only, like, 4 o'clock or 3, I think it was like 3 o'clock, 3, 4 o'clock, like, it wasn't super late, but, like, I usually leave those conventions around dinner time anyway, and it was like, I'd rather just go in the dealer's room, or go play a game with someone, like, I don't know, like, I'm done at this point, like, I don't know. That was when it was different. You could go into the gaming section, and, like, you could rent board games. You would just give your ID as collateral, and, like, my brother-in-law brought Munchkin with him, so that was fun. Like, now it's like a whole different setup. Like, this was back in the day. Like, you know, I think I just want to go play games. Like, I'm done. Like, you know, I messaged the group back. I'm like, never mind. Like, I'm no longer interested. Like, how did you, like, not tell this group, hours ago that it was going to be canceled or rescheduled, like, as it was going? Because, like, I don't know. And then they said, oh, well, the Wi-Fi was bad and I didn't have Wi-Fi. People had smartphones back in 2013, like, majority. Someone could have posted, hey, guys, it's a to be announced thing, or I don't know, like, we need a location, I'm sorry, like, or it's canceled. Like, I really wish they just put on the page that it was canceled, because there were so many shoots that year and, like, in the past years that would say, like, yeah, meet at Founders Bridge at 2 o'clock, and then no one would show up. Like, if you're organizing stuff and you have photographers, like, why wouldn't you show up? Like, that makes no sense. Or some of them would cancel in the day of, and it would be really annoying, and I get that, but at the end of the day, it's really stupid. But, you know, like, I didn't want to go. Like, I was like, I'm tired, I'm done, I want to go home. By that I mean my sister's house, because, like, I was staying up there for the weekend. And I was like, nah, I'm good, that's it. That kind of ruined it. I went and got pictures with someone else. Like, we went around the city, and they look a lot better anyway. I'm good. And the girl was like, oh, and she put, like, a sad face. I'm like, so you're responding to me now? Like, 3-4 hours later, like, asking me if I'm gonna come, and, like, you're texting me back and forth. If your phone's Wi-Fi was that bad, or your iPod, because I think back then a lot of people used their iPod to text, and, like, I remember those days. Like, back in middle school, to save my minutes, I used to text on Kick or something with my friends. Like, I get that, but, like, these were grown-ass adults that had their own cell phone plan. Like, what the fuck, you know? So, that kind of ruined it, so that's why I didn't go after that. And plus, like, you know, I almost got arrested, I guess, so, like, I was still in shock about that. So I was like, you know what, this is a sign. I'm good, I'm going home. And that's my story. So, don't climb into a fountain for a fucking picture. If you're gonna do it, get permission from somebody. Like, whether it be, like, a business owner if they own it, or a cop, or something like that. Because, like, if you don't ask, they're gonna say that you're, like, being a public nuisance, or I don't know what the correct legal term is, but don't do it for the gram. Like, you're gonna get in trouble. Like, you think of these YouTubers like Jake Paul and Rice Gum, and the ones that get in trouble all the time on videos. Like, I think there was a video, Rice Gum, like, jumped into, like, a pillow pit in, like, Target, and, like, almost broke everything. Like, you know, stuff like that. Don't do it. It's not fucking worth it for a picture or for a video. So, that's my lesson to you guys. I hope this story was somewhat entertaining to somebody. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.